What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Coast Guard's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Maketoys. I don't have the box nearby, so Maketoys Knife Tip, or whatever his name is. It's blades from their Protect-A-Bot line. Uses a lot of the same engineering from First Aid, which is a bummer when you're paying this price. So let me get that out of the way first. I'm sure that'll be a reoccurring theme. But outside of that, not a bad figure. We'll talk about the accessory first, which is this knife or sword, which, as you can see, is a one weapon. It doesn't split into two or any sort of tomfoolery like that. It's just kind of a what you see is what you get. You can sort of split these and then rotate them around, I believe. It's thinner plastic, so, and then he can, but then he can't really hold it, can he? Maybe you can make a scissor. Whatevs. No paint, gray plastic, par for the course. It's also worth noting that you can store this here on this ball peg. Really tight fit. Doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies getting it in there, but and then it can hang there, and then it can also be stored on this tab here, like that. The hip one works well. This one is kind of just available. This guy, nice color breakup. Let's talk about him. Head, that same sort of hinged swivel bit, which works well. Got the silver paint on the face, which looks good, and the blue paint on the eyes, which looks good. Shoulders, even more problematic than First Aid because this little peg tabs into there, and it comes out even easier than the other one does. But you can, it's a ball joint, so you get the whole swivel. You get out to about there, which I think is fine. And then that way as well. And then you can manipulate this and, you know, fake it till you make it, bruh. Or you can unhinge that for pictures or getting an extreme angle like that, which works just fine. Same for the other side. Color-wise, we have gold and silver paint on there, which looks good, and it's on the forearm as well. A lot of paint there, which I like, and it looks good. Doesn't look out of place. Maybe would have liked some red as opposed to the silver, but not. That's now. What am I? Now I'm nitpicking, aren't I? People think I nitpick. I'm too particular. I don't think that's right. I don't think that that's true. Up here we have this design. I kind of like it. It looks like a safety belt or something strapped across his chest. I kind of dig it. But one thing I don't like about it, and this is just my sensibilities, right? So this system here plugs into this gold bit. This system here plugs into an identical piece, but it's not painted gold, and stuff like that drives me nuts. But that's just me. Ab crunch. 2 clicks forward, works like a champ. None back. Waist swivel. Don't tell me that. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, same as the other one. It's on that pelvis line for combiner mode. So same as that other one, that works fine. White paint on the pelvis, which looks good. Moving down the figure, different shade of plastic with the thighs to the hips. Smart choice, breaks it up quite nicely. T-jointed ball joints for hips, getting you out to there, forward to there, back to there. All in all, well done. Thigh swivel, that works well. All this leg kibble, which is excessive, move that out of the way. You can get a single hinge knee joint there, getting you 90 degrees. Once again, same sort of ugliness with the sculpt when you do that. So that's a bummer. This leg kibble here, let's talk about that. So that looks okay to me. This, it seems like they could have maybe thought this through a bit. Paint on the inside of the leg looks great. So it wraps around to the side, or you can kind of hinge it back on itself like that, but then it sticks out further. So it's just kind of not ideal all the way around. It's not smart, and I think that's what kind of takes me by surprise, because I feel like Maketoys and Fans Project, and you know me, I give Fans Project a fair amount of crap, but I do feel like both of these companies, or one company, or whatever it is over there in that sense, make smart designs, and I don't necessarily feel like this is a smart choice. Let's move down. All the wheels here painted well. All that stuff looks good. For the ankles, we got a ball joint right there. which gets you your ankle tilt and rocker. Not an extreme degree on the rocker, but it's definitely there. And unless you go to a really wide stance, I think it'll work just fine. You get a toe tilt too. He definitely stands in different color plastic, breaks it up nicely. Definitely stands better than First Aid. You know, definitely the feet, just the wider feet, make it a better unit in that respect. Size comparison wise, I feel like a group shot at this point is kind of merited. They look good together. The reds and whites and all that stuff. Reds, whites, and grays, right? And it looks good. It looks cohesive. Looks like a team. I can dig it. This may seem similar because it's this basically the same as the other one, but there are a few differences. Collapse these feet, and then open up all this here. And it's hard. It is hard for me to stay oriented, so just bear with me. Popped off the ball joint. Unplug from that tab. I don't like that. Same on the other one, but I just don't care for that design. This comes down. When you get to this point, this has to come down, and then these pieces tab into the side there. So I like to stay and get that done first, because once everything else is together, it kind of becomes a little bit more challenging. So same for that side. And then that's done. These come down like that, and then this, bring this down, rotate this around like that. Same on the other side. You can spin that, and then you can close these together. There. That is that, I believe. Okay, so here, same thing as before. Spin these around. You can leave these open for right now. These around. This comes up. I don't know if you need to tilt the head back for this one or not. I can't remember. And then this eventually comes down and tabs into there. But let's see if we can get the rest of this kind of sorted. So close these, and once again, just like the other one, the arms are kind of where everything starts to get a little wonky. And this is all kind of untabbed. This is my issue. All right. Let's untab this. See, it's like it's working against you. There. Now we'll tab this into there and try to work it up underneath there. And this into there. Try to work that up underneath there. And that's our skeleton, and then we just got to get these arms to work, which is a bear in its own right. So that tab there needs to go into that side panel there, and then this tab there needs to go into the side panel down in there. So make sure that the hands are collapsed. This one's already collapsed. There, now that ain't quite right, I don't think. That feels good, so to speak. Alright. Same over here. There. And there it is. Done and done. Let's get the blades on. Now this, I think, can eat you up. You kind of got to take one blade at a time and work them around in 90 degrees because they want to pop off. And I feel like All right, so there. There. That's right. And then that ball joint goes into the top there. But then you have the ball joint problem. I see, that's interesting. I'm not sure if I noticed that before. So it doesn't really spin that well, but that actually might be better when it's in combine mode, that it won't spin on you. It'll stay pretty tensioned. So that actually might be a blessing in disguise. Let's talk about the rest of it. The bottom of it cleans up much better, I feel like, than the other one. It kind of looks a little bit more mainline. They use this combiner port here as like wheels, like landing gear. I think that's smart. And then you get the wheels here. So it can never really be like tucked in, but it doesn't really need to be either. This propeller spins no problem. Nice window paint on there, but then we get translucent on the front. You can see the head. I suppose I could have turned the head around. That would have solved some of those issues, but you know, hindsight's 20/20 and whatnot. And then the rest of it looks pretty good. I like this design here with the little cutouts in the circle. I think that looks good. I think that this helicopter looks good. I think that this is a good job. I think that this piece here lends itself to this transformation a lot better than the first aid one, to be honest with you. So I'm glad I opened the first aid one first. First blade one, Freudian slip. I'm glad I opened the first aid one first because I feel like I'm ending on a good note. Final thoughts wise, I think that this mold definitely suits this guy better than the other one. I mean, it's not the same mold, but it's like a retooling of the same mold. I'm not even sure if that's fair. It's definitely utilizing the same engineering. So I think that it works better for this guy. It makes it more enjoyable. All the stuff that kind of has to form the box around first aid kind of makes him a lot more unenjoyable than this fella. So this kind of works a lot better. The action figure mode still does suffer a good bit. He could have used a lot more of a ankle rocker in order to get those extreme poses. That would have been nice. And I'm not even sure if just flipping the ball peg to the inside of the heel wouldn't have fixed that. But then again, that wouldn't have been possible because it all has to squeeze together. So I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm not a toy designer, but I am a toy buyer, so I know what I like when I buy it. But a lot of the other action figure stuff does work well here, and it does suit him well. But he is kibbly. I mean, those wings hanging off the back, stuff like that. And I feel like the money they saved on the engineering, maybe they could have reinvested into kind of doing a little bit more with that kibble. But all in all, not bad. The paint is great. The articulation is pretty great with the exception of a few things. Oh, and sometimes people say, like, what do you mean by cheat? And, like, that shoulder, in order to get that angle, I cheated. So this is where this shoulder is supposed to be, down in here. But I've tucked this shoulder around the opposite direction. Or did I? Yeah, I did, because that's where it's supposed to plug in. So I shoved it around the opposite direction. I was able to get more of an extreme angle, and it looks better from a dynamic pose. So that's what I mean by cheating. It's little stuff like that. But it works, and that's cool. But the articulation is pretty good. The paint is great. The materials are good. So it's par for the course with the set, except that it's in the weaker range. But I would say it's better than First Aid. So that's the good news. So outside of that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. You want to say goodbye?
Crazy.